Ready? Ready?
Oh!
Oh!
Hey guys, welcome to Rotor Riot. I'm Drew, and today I'm joined by my friend Javier. What's up, man? He's come all the way from Spain to build a drone with us. What do you call this thing?
I call this thing the little.
So it's a 3-inch. Is it faster than my 5-inch?
Perhaps, depending on the track, I think is faster cornering, my friend. It's super fast.
Dude, you know, it's definitely faster.
Yeah.
When he took it, I was like, let's use this.
Fast. Well, this frame, I usually use the T-motor, F20 motors. For the flight controller, I use a compact case flight controller.
Yeah, this thing is pretty cool. It's like everything you need.
Everything is all in
one board.
4 ECs, flight controller, bags, everything. We will use the frame. The Redux frame is a 130mm frame. Okay, it's from Flyduino.com. You know, it's super fast.
Okay.
Okay, we will use the 4-foot receiver. Okay, the FM 800 receiver. The motor, 490 motor, F20.
It's so little.
Yeah. So
it's
little.
teeny.
So tiny.
You get that often, Drew?
For the camera, we will use the Runcam
Rotor Riot Edition Runcam Swift. And that's what's crazy about this little guy is I've seen other little builds that you have to use like the tiny whip camera, like the small ones.
Yeah.
You're using a full-size camera and video transmitter.
Exactly.
And all this fits in there.
All it fits inside.
It looks like you do something special with the antenna. Rather than this whole SMA deal, looks like you snap on an antenna.
I prefer use directly to the tram a little BTX antenna. You know, is easier, is faster to build, and works. The linear antenna works. The pole antenna works very well.
Okay, so today we're gonna use it's a U.FL baby antenna that'll snap right on. And it's actually right hand polarized and everything. All right, so enough yapping. Let's make it happen.
You just say what?
I said enough yapping. Make it happen, mother.
You didn't say it.
You sound like a dad.
Okay, fine. Is that too daddy? Okay, fine. Hey, daddy.
First, the arms. We use the middle.
So the lower plate, it's got these slots for the battery straps?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so this goes on the bottom. The arms go on top of the bottom plate.
Yeah. Then you use the screws.
Oh, so all the arms like intersect in the middle there.
We put over the middle section. And the final part is this little screw in the middle.
So that locks them all together.
Yeah.
All right, so the outer screws, they went from the bottom up to thread into the standoffs, but this middle one looks like it goes from the top to the bottom, and that should give you extra clearance for the flight controller that's going to go on top. So we've got the whole bottom assembled. So these are just nylon nuts, and this will give you a little bit of space between the flight controller and the carbon fiber.
Yeah.
What happens if the flight controller touches the carbon? I'm going to do it.
We will have a potato!
So far, we've got a bottom plate that has the slots for the battery straps. Then the arms go on top of the bottom plate. Then we have this middle plate, and the screws thread through all three of those, and we put these small nylon nuts to hold it all together and space out the flight controller.
Right now, we need to put a little O-ring, the plastic O-ring, okay, for prevent the vibration into the flight controller.
So these are just little rubber rings that you can get at the hardware store. They're just called O-rings. So you just drop them over these screws. Okay, so now we can drop this thing on.
Exactly. No!
Oh, no, don't do it!
Reverse, man!
Oh, I almost put it on upside down. Okay, which way is the right way? So the slots for the battery strap, that's on the left and right side.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then you just have the arrow going forward?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Here, then the O-rings.
We got more O-rings.
More O-rings. O-ring forever. Next step. Camera. For attach the camera to the top plate, we use the bracket of the camera.
So you just get the bracket attached to the underside of the top plate.
Yeah. Only need a screw and a nut for attach them to the top plate.
So the cutout goes in the front for the lens.
Yeah.
And this swoop of the bracket goes in the back to lock the camera in place using this thing.
We put the screw under the bracket. Okay.
So through the bracket, up through the top plate.
To the top plate. Put the camera inside, with the bracket. And then use the screw for attach the camera. This little one from here.
So then these M2 screws go in the back.
Yeah.
So you can lock in your camera angle. How much camera angle do you fly with?
Depends. For freestyle, I usually use 25, 30. For racing, depends on the frame also. Depends of the track. 45, 50.
45?
45.
All the
50.
angle?
Yeah.
So the flight controller's on there. Now start bolting the motors onto the arms.
Yeah. 2 screws. For me, is 2 screws is enough.
So you got all the motors attached, so I guess let's just measure out the wires and cut them so we can solder them to the built-in ESCs.
Next step, we must solder every motor to every ESC pad. Repeat the process with every motor.
So you've got the whole bottom part of the frame assembled, the motors are attached to the arms and soldered to the flight controller.
The next is solder the battery leads, okay?
So for a build this size, you probably want to use 16 or 14 gauge wire.
Yeah.
Okay, this
is
is
14. I prefer use the 16. It's better for
weight.
No, for the weight, something like that. It's okay. Okay, step soldering the wire to the XT60. Yeah.
So tinning, you're just adding solder to the exposed wire so that it'll solder more easily to the metal contact of the XT60.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's get a little heat shrink on that.
Use the head shrink. Then
Fire!
fire. The other one.
Fire!
Perfect. Connector. Finish it. Right now we must put in the pads of the flight controller.
So the pads are labeled LiPo negative and LiPo positive, so we're just gonna hit the black wire on the negative and the red wire on the positive. So because we're using a little bit larger gauge wire, this is 14 gauge, the exposed part of the wire once it's pre-tinned is pretty large for how big these pads are. So we're pre-tinning it, and now we're going to cut it down a bit to make the point that connects to the pads a little bit smaller, so there's less of a chance of the positive and negative shorting out against each other. Javier took the O-ring off of the corner so that we could have more room to solder without risk of burning the rubber. So now that the solder joint is completed, put that back on.
The next step is know that the flight controller has 4 jumper here for soldering. Jumper 1, jumper for the motor 2, jumper for the motor 3, a jumper for the motor 4. If you bridge the jumper, you change the direction of every motor.
So you need to bridge 2 of these jumpers. So for this specific motor, if you solder the left wire to the left pad, the right wire to the right pad, and the middle wire to the middle pad, the motor will spin counterclockwise. So for these 2 motors, you're going to have to bridge this pad to reverse the direction.
Also with the newest key software, you can in the GUI you can change every direction of every motor.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So why even do this?
It's other thing because I always make this part.
Okay.
To bridge the motor 1 and the motor 3. And this time is the moment for the receiver. We use the FM800 receiver from Kia Servo.
So this is just a really small receiver that's compatible with Futaba?
Yeah.
You always fly Futaba?
Yeah, it's for Futaba. It's this smaller one, and I was never for flying for Futaba. It's the micro receiver, long range, 1 kilometer, Futaba fast, protocol, super nice.
Futaba is pretty new to mini quads and FPV drones and all that. So if you fly FreeSky or Spectrum, the smallest FreeSky receiver is the XM Plus. There'll be a link to that in the description. Either way, you just want to get the weight of every component as light as possible for the little build.
We have a lot of connection, man. Only need 1, and we need to solder in these 3 pads of the flight controller. Okay, in these 3 pads is the first is the signal, the second is 5 volts, and the 3 is the ground. I usually use this receiver in the back on the pod, alright? Mm-hmm. And I measure something like this is something correct.
Cool.
Okay? Cut.
Yeah!
Hey, one more!
Wait, last one.
Yeah! First the signal, the second one is the 5 volts, and the last one is the ground.
Alright, let's get to the FPV components. So the camera's all set up. Let's grab our video transmitter. Got a Tramp high voltage. It actually comes with a harness that's perfect because you can plug this right into your Tramp, connect positive and negative to power it, and then this end will plug right into the Swift and power it and get video to the transmitter. So the Tramp also comes with this TNR, Touch and Race, NFC module that when plugged in and attached, you can easily change channel, power band, all the things with the wand. So do you use this on the quad?
For usually fly for freestyle, and no, yeah, I only use this TNR when I go to a race, to competition, etc. No, we can remove it.
All right.
Yeah. Bye. The tram has this extension pigtail cable, okay, but for the wheel of the 3-inch frame, I don't use it because it's so long for this small frame. You know? For a 5-inch frame, it's perfect. This long for put your antenna in your frame, okay?
Yeah, so let's remove this SMA pigtail and we'll attach our U.FL antenna thing from Lumiere.
And then attach the antenna. Down.
Ooh, that sounded satisfying. This is safe. Looks dry to me. So where do you mount your tramp? Kind of on the side here?
Yes.
So you just got to get enough wire to get it over here and something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Cut it!
We solder the voltage, the positive here, and the negative.
Oh man, those are really close together. Yeah. Look how, I think those are touching. Positive and negative, we're looking like they're a little close together. So like before when we were cutting down the tinned area, we're going to do some more of that. So I'm going to remove the negative, trim it a bit, and reattach it. Yeah, I think that looks good. Alright, now let's get the trim negative attached.
Perfect.
Alright, let's be extra cautious. Check continuity. Things are really tight on this build. They were touching before. It looks like we've gotten the positive and negative fully separated. So we've got our multimeter here. If there is continuity, meaning that the positive and negative are making contact, when we touch the little testing pinny things here, we'll get a beep, beep, beep. So here we go. No noise.
No noise.
Looks good.
It's great, yeah.
Alright, we win.
Perfect. And the next is put the 4 standoff into the screws.
So how much do we want to tighten these? Just like snug it up, finger tight?
Yeah, not so tight. It's a little. You watch the plastic, the orange plastic, a little, like something like this.
Okay, so you just want to compress the O-rings a little bit.
Little bit, not so much.
Okay.
Alright,
so the video transmitter is all soldered up. We'll just grab our camera lead, plug it on in, and you just screw it to the top there?
Yeah.
When you go to attach the top plate, if you find that the bracket of the Swift is hitting the rear standoffs, just scoot your camera forward as much as you can or as much as you need to so that when you set it on there, you get good clearance between your bracket and your standoff. Everything's fitting nice and neatly here, so let's just add the screws. So this is looking just about done. I think we just need to mount the video transmitter and the receiver. How do you get it in there?
I'm using something very special.
Yeah.
The Charpu tape! For attach the receiver in his place, we use a little part of Charpu tape.
So you've just got the tape inserted behind the rear standoffs?
Yeah, exactly.
Alright.
And
You
then
attach the receiver to the tape.
And
then
position.
what do you do? Just wrap it forward?
Yeah.
Like that?
And then the other part. Yeah.
That's-
Almost perfect.
I think Charpu would be proud.
Next step, attach the VTX to the frame. Again, put more Charpu tape. This.
You just press it up against the side of the camera?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just up against the side of the camera, and you just wrap it around the whole thing.
And you protect everything for the dust, for the grass, for the electronics, you know.
So on there pretty good. Is there anything else we can Charpu tape? I want more Charpu tape.
You want more Charpu tape?
Like maybe the motor wires?
Alright, for the arms, for the wires, one here. I give you more Charpu tape.
How do you want to attach this thing? Just kind of zip tie it to the standoff here?
With 1 or 2 zip ties and perfect. Black. Yes,
It's looking sweet.
yeah.
Put some tops on.
Alright, the 4 fan, propeller.
Let's throw a battery on this thing and see if
Yeah.
it blows up. So what size batteries do you typically use? Like 850s, 550s?
Usually I use 850 for longer flying time, you know. But for racing mode and the lightest wave as possible, I usually use 450 or 650, you know.
So you think we did this right? Or is it going to go up in smoke?
No smoke, no, please.
No smoke?
No. Wait. 3, 2, 1. Yes! We do it!
All right. Glamour shot.
Here, eat this. How's it taste?
I have more reception right now.
What antenna are you guys using?
Right.
Using the Lumiere AX2 UF.L thing. It snaps onto the things with it. What are you laughing at, punk?